So would it actually make sense to award an overall title in the IFBB nowadays? This was back in 1975, and Franco Columbu, he won the short class or the lightweight class, and then, of course, Arnold Schwarzenegger took the heavyweight title. And the two of them met for the overall title at the end of the night, making it for a very exciting event. And in my opinion, it awarded the one and only title of Mister. So if they were to do this nowadays, say take Big Ramy, he's the overall champion now, I guess, or people call him Mr. Olympia, say he wins the heavyweight title, now hear me out, and then Chris Bumstead, he wins the classic physique division, as per usual. So at the end of the night, have an overall title, an overall matchup between these two. And what the heck? What the heck? Makes more sense to throw in the 212 champion Derek Lunsford as well, right? So this would be an even more exciting prospect. Now, there is a lot of talk. Fouad Abiad and Greg Doucette, he was talking about some answers to maybe help bodybuilding to save some lives, things of that nature. And I guess this is my 2 cents. Because, hear me out now, if they were to do this or introduce this to the IFBB, they could tweak it a little bit, have all of the prize money equal for all of the divisions. And what that would do, it would get the best genetics to go to the best division for them. So they're not all just chasing the money in the open class. Now hear me out. All of the award money for the winners for all of these divisions would be the same. And then you get a huge bonus for winning the overall title. You get the Sandow, you get the title of Mister. Now, does that make sense to you guys? Well, I guess it would have to make sense that these three could be competitive in a matchup. And it looks like to me, in particular when you look at the arms, guys, it looks like boys against men. It looks like Big Ramy has this one wrapped up in a nice, neat little package, right? Well, if we're using a champion with the name Big in his name, it's already kind of working against the classic physique and the 212. But look at the torsos, guys. Look at the aesthetics. They're going to initiate a different type of judging system, I would assume, for the overall title. Open class, they're open class judges. Classic physique, they're classic physique judges. And the same with 212. Now, at the end, they could initiate a different type of judging system, not necessarily focused on the aesthetics, the size, the condition, but all three equally. Then it would be more fair. I think Derek Lunsford looks outstanding. He matches up very well against Big Ramy. Let's go through these shots. And, this is a comparison channel, right? But I'll talk as I go through. Now, Greg Doucette, like I said, he made a retaliation to Fouad Abiad. Fouad, I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly. He had Bodybuilding and BS removed, or he had him remove his video because he didn't like the title, things of that nature. And then Greg Doucette made a video, and he has a lot of pull. He has a lot of fans, and I think Bodybuilding and BS can thank Greg for this. He made it obvious that it was ridiculous for Fouad to remove a video because he used his footage. I understand that it was the title, but it was the footage that he used the leverage to actually remove that video. But what Greg said made a whole lot of sense. And to have somebody's video removed because they used your footage and they're actually talking about you is utterly ridiculous. Greg himself has used my footage. And no, he wasn't being that kind. Was I upset? Sure, I was upset. But was I for 1 second going to copyright strike Greg for using my footage? No, of course not. Of course not. Anyway, whether I agree or disagree with Greg's politics, gotta give the guy respect. And Bodybuilding and BS, you should thank him. For sure. Anyway, this front lat spread. This leads me to believe that the heavyweight division could be overthrown by the 212 in particular. And even more in particular. I don't know how that makes sense. But the classic physique division, Chris Bumstead, look at this. All size aside, both the lats are going nice in deep under those arms of Bumstead and for Lunsford. And what I see with Big Ramy is maybe injured lats. I don't know. I'm no doctor. I'm no expert. Am I stealing Greg's sayings now? Anyway. I'm no doctor. Damn it, Jim. I'm not a doctor. So anyway, yeah, I think it's possible. Let's go through these side shots. Wow. I don't see the classic physique or even the 212 touching Big Ramy in the side chest anyway. He's so big, he's so thick, and he crouches down. I didn't missize it. I sized it to the best of my abilities. Big Ramy sits so short in the side chest. Look how thick he is. Bumstead, I mean, he's just too thin to compete. But keep in mind, if they were to implement this, the final, showdown at the end of the night for the overall title, like I said, I'm sure they would have a combination of judges, or maybe one judge that has the keen eye for all of the poses. Side tricep. Wow. When you add the arms into the equation, it's Big Ramy all day, strong all day long. Winter is coming. That's from a TV show. Winter is coming. He stole that from a TV show. Anyway, somebody told me that. I like Derek more so than Bumstead, but I mean, Big Ramy, he's the clear winner. It's not over yet though. Go to the back, and here is where I thought Big Ramy was going to dominate. But this is a chink in his armor? That kind of sounds terrible. That's terrible. I don't think I'll ever say that again. There's a weakness in his armor in the back development. If you can believe that. Derek Lunsford's back is better than Big Ramy's. Wow-wee. Big Ramy, you could see it from the front. There is something wrong with that back development. Is he beating Bumstead? I mean, he's so gosh darn big. I didn't want to be that big, but I wanted to beat Ramy. So I got big, and I didn't beat him at first. Anyway, Big Ramy, his back is deteriorating. Just have a look. 2020, that is a big old back. And the leg development, I heard he only trained for a couple of months for the Olympia, or a few months, whatever it was. Not the whole year like he did 2020, and you can see that. For sure, look at the amount of meat on his back and in the wheels. Nowhere near as good as he was in 2020. But anyway, that's not the matchup. This is the matchup. And his lats are gone. Big Ramy's. Derek Lunsford, I know I'm not saying much about Bumstead, but he's awfully thin. Like a thinlet. Is that a word? A thinlet? Big Ramy's back is not up to par to Derek Lunsford's. And I'm sure if this was radio, television, doesn't it sound like I'm on old-time radio? And you couldn't see the pictures, people would be shaking their heads at home, thinking, Derek can't touch Big Ramy in the back development. Well, look at that. Boom, as Superset Man says. Superset Man. Look at that, guys. If Big Ramy had Derek Lunsford's back, he'd be Mr. Olympia. Oh, wait a second. He is Mr. Olympia. But would he be if they had an overall championships at the end? Heavyweight versus 212 versus men's classic. Poor Bumstead. Of course, in the abs and thigh, Bumstead... Oh, I didn't even mention condition. Condition was pretty good all the way around. So, if that's your main focus, then it could be anybody's ball game for sure. But like I was saying, in the abs and thigh, Bumstead reigning supreme here. Well, Derek Lunsford has some lines. He has some very aesthetically pleasing lines. And like I mentioned earlier, Greg Doucette did that video. He did it about Derek Lunsford versus Chris Bumstead. He kind of said that there's no way, shape, or form that Derek Lunsford could ever make the weight. Now, if you're listening, Greg, hear me out here. My issue wasn't the weight. It was how aesthetically pleasing Lunsford is. And I do believe that he is so good that he could lose a number of pounds and he could still, be a threat in the men's classic physique division. Now, at the time, I didn't realize just how much weight he would have to lose. And of course, Doucette himself competes he did for 212 and for classic physique. So he knows exactly the weights and things of that nature. So could have been off on that one, but I still stick to my guns. I think Lunsford is fantastic and just that good that here's the most muscular. And if there was a pose here that Ramy should be dominant, it would be this one, but it is just not the case. He lacks that ab muscle separation. I mean, the other two dudes have it in spades. I think Lunsford, if anybody in this entire matchup, has impressed me more than any of them. Now, am I saying that Derek Lunsford can beat Big Ramy, the 2021 Lunsford, beating the same year Big Ramy and Bumstead? This is 2020 for Bumstead, by the way. Well, I'm not saying that exactly. But what I am saying is that Big Ramy was not that dominant in all of the shots. He was very dominant in a couple, for sure. But from the back in particular, he was showing some vulnerabilities to Derek Lunsford in particular. So would it make sense to do this? In my opinion, absolutely. I think absolutely. Keep in mind, Ramy is a strong champion. Have him off 1 year, get a smaller man to win, and it would be a much closer matchup. Maybe even Lunsford for the win, or who knows? Bumstead could win. You never know. I think it would probably be a 212. Now, is this my way of saving lives in bodybuilding? Well, no. People are going to pass away, guys. And the subject seems to be size. You have to look at the bodybuilders that are dying. Jay Cutler's still alive. Ronnie Coleman's still alive. Marcus Ruhl. The list continues, guys, of the biggest mass monsters in bodybuilding that are still alive. Dorian Yates doing very well. He was the most massive guy for his time, too. Jean-Pierre Fuchs. The list continues. You have to look and focus on the guys that are dying. And in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, guys, I think it's an age thing. Now, I was the one rooting for a master's class, but if they do introduce that, they should definitely have a weight limit, things of that nature. And in my opinion, guys, Cedric McMillan, Sean Roden, may they rest in peace, but they were not the biggest mass monsters out there. They were more aesthetically pleasing, if anything. It was, in my opinion, the age. But anyway, guys, this would get at least some 212 guys to stop pushing it to the limits and maybe go to the 212 and, just my 2 cents, like I said, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it entertaining, at least. And subscribe to the channel if you did. Have a great day, guys.